Hello everybody, welcome to the new channel, Film Score Predictions, where I will be taking the upcoming movie release and taking the composer's background as well as the background of the movie and the style it's going to be in, and trying to write my own music for it, and trying to be as close as I can to what they end up releasing, which is going to kind of be pretty much impossible. But, it's fun to try and just have fun with it. This is an amazing way for me to both gain experience learning about composers and different styles of writing, as well as just getting practice writing as much as I can. So I'm super excited to take you guys along with me on this journey. It should be really good. The first movie I'm going to be working on is the Fantastic Four First Steps. Phenomenal movie. One of the movies I'm actually the most excited to see, right behind the newest How to Train Your Dragons movie, which was phenomenal. I enjoyed it so much. Obviously, no bias there whatsoever. But yeah, so I'm going to quickly read just a description from the IMDb page for the movie. Forced to balance with their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond, the Fantastic Four must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus and his enigmatic herald, Silver Surfer. This movie stars Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, Eben Moss Branchford as Ben Grimm, Ralph Ineson, I think it's Innocent, sorry, I'm gonna butcher some of these names, as Galactus, and Julia Garner as Shayla Ball, my bad. Yeah, so just a quick warning. When I made the score, the actual score for my prediction, I had not yet heard the soundtrack that has already been released for the movie. When I made the script, and obviously when I'm recording this video, I have. Phenomenal, by the way. There's a couple of things I'll talk about that our composer used that I didn't think about using when I made it, but is a really good idea, and I really should have thought about, which is good because that means I'm learning on what to look for when it comes to making my scores for the next one that I do. So the first composer that we're going to talk about on this channel is my personal favorite composer, Mr. Michael Giacchino. He is amazing. He's done everything from Pixar's Ratatouille to Up to The Incredibles to even stepping into Star Wars to fill where John Williams isn't. Even the new Batman, he's done that. All sorts of amazing music that he's made. He is my favorite, but one of the, in my opinion, one of the best composers that there is right now. So he is phenomenal to listen to and to learn from because the way he composes is very cool. He is like really big in Disney. He works a lot with Disney. If you see a new Pixar movie or Disney movie coming out, chances are Michael Giacchino is probably going to do something with the score. Probably 50% of the time. You can toss a coin and guess if he's going to do it or not. But yeah, so just a little bit of background from Mr. Giacchino. He has a lot of classical music influence because he began playing piano as a child, and obviously he played a lot of classical when he was playing piano. He also, the way he writes music is very heavily inspired by Debussy, Beethoven, all those classical composers, but he also draws ties through other styles. This was like jazz, rock, that kind of stuff, which you can see when you listen to his music and see the like vast difference where you have stuff like, the Batman, which is very cinematic, and then you have stuff like Up, and The Incredibles is a great one where it's pure jazz the whole time in a big band style, and then you have which contrasts completely to the more cinematic Batman movie. So he is very good at writing in all different styles of music because he has so much like influence from all of those different kinds of genres. One of the biggest aspects of Giacchino's work, other than actually, I'm going to mention this one first because I like this one a lot, is the way he titles his pieces. He is really good at titling his pieces because they're really funny. I think one of my favorite titles of a piece is a Giacchino piece, and it's I think it's Peter Parker picked a precariously perilous profession. I think that's what it is. It's hilarious. I love it. It makes me smile every time. But another thing that he uses is something called a leitmotif, which is basically the idea of musical ideas being being repeated throughout film and tied to a specific person or idea. This gives like a sense of like overarching cohesion as well as like tying specific emotions to characters or events. I have here that one really good like piece to listen to for this, or movie score to listen to for this, is the Batman, which I had previously talked about being very cinematic. He uses this idea of the Riddler's theme and Batman's theme to contrast each other. Batman's theme being very ominous and dark and moody almost to reflect him. But every time you hear this Batman, like the Batman almost theme or motif in the background, it gives you a sense of like almost like the gears are turning, or like something's happening here that you are like, you know, Batman has his hand in something here, or he's thinking about something. And then the Riddler, it's the contrast where it's like, okay, what's happening that the Riddler's doing right now that's contrasting this, whether it's, you know, he's killed the mayor and Batman's thinking about this over here, but really he's just turning the cogs over here as the Riddler. I also really like, this isn't really much to do tied in with motifs, but I also like the fact that the Riddler's theme is Ave Maria, but just in a minor key. So a lot of the Ave Maria is something that is tied to the Riddler and throughout the music, throughout like the movie a lot. But the fact that the Riddler's theme is Ave Maria, but just a little bit different, is very cool. I like that a lot. Yeah, so one of the like coolest thematical compositional writing, you know, tying music to characters is, I already talked about the movie, but How to Train Your Dragons is a phenomenal example of tying characters to pieces of music or motifs. And there's actually a YouTube video out there by Charles Cornell that dives into like the thematic writing and the mastermind behind everything that happened, the way John Powell looked at it and wrote it, and it's brilliant, but it's so hard to explain, and he does an amazing job, so why try to do it when he already has? So I'll put a link in the description for an amazing video on that, because he explained it really well, and it is an amazing example of thematic writing, and it's a really good video, definitely worth the watch. Yeah, so when I was writing this piece, I wanted to take the idea of leitmotifs. It's always something that I like to do, especially in thematic writing, is tying motifs to characters. Or I haven't really experimented with ideas as much, but characters is very fun, because you can see the development of the character in the movie and through the music, and I think that is a really interesting approach and really cool to do. So what I tried to do is I tied each individual, I tied kind of them all together. So there's a theme for the Fantastic Four, and each part inside of the Fantastic Four theme represents a character or something that's happening in the scene to show like just what's happening in the scene. So yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I previously explained about how what Michael Giacchino did in his score that I really liked, and that was, this movie is in the style of the 60s, because that's when this takes place, like during the space race kind of. So I didn't think about, you know, putting stuff in there to make it sound like 60s music, but Giacchino did. And he put a lot of stuff into his score that screams 60s music. Like, I listened to it and it was 100% 60s. I could tell immediately. It was phenomenal. So, like I said, when I'm writing this, didn't know that anything about the score, hadn't listened to it at all, but now looking back at the score and what I've written, and writing the script, it's an amazing addition, and I'm kind of sad I didn't think about that. But yeah, I'll put a link in the description to his score on the his actual score for the film, so you can kind of listen and see what I'm talking about. But yeah, so my idea for the scene that I was gonna create, I wanted to do not a final fight scene, but at least a fight scene. So my idea was to do just the idea of the Fantastic Four going against Galactus. I started with the idea of it being the final fight scene, but realized that it probably could have just been any fight scene. So yeah, you'll see exactly how it pans out in the actual, like, score on what's happening. But yes, that was my original idea on the actual scene that's playing out. So we're going to quickly transfer over to the score and take a look at the score, and we'll talk through that a little bit more. Alright everybody, so here we have the score on the screen, and I'm going to kind of talk through it a little bit and show you what I was thinking about and what each part of the score actually represents. So down here in the cello part, this is actually the idea of Sue Storm. So her having the power to go invisible made me think stealthy, obviously, because that's the biggest thing when you think of invisibility, is being able to creep around and be stealthy. But she's also the team leader, so I wanted her motif almost to be reminiscent of stealthy but prominent in the whole score. Like, this is the baseline. This is what's holding everything up. It's the idea. It's the plan. She's not the team leader. She's like the strategist. She's the behind the scenes thinking of plans and stuff like that. But yeah, obviously we have a nice violin part here that is mirrored in the oboe section. Sorry, I didn't mean to actually press the note, but mirrored here in the oboe section, that gives the idea of Johnny Storm. So we see this contrast where Sue is laying out the storm, or not the storm, Sue Storm is laying out the plan, and then we immediately get a dead stop here, and it goes right into Johnny doing his own thing. He's not listening fully. He's just thinking, okay, fight. This is what we're doing. We're fighting. We're going. Then Sue Storm comes in. It's kind of like, okay, Johnny, I'm here to help, but like, let's stick to the plan here. Really stick to the plan. And we have these, this nice little, oboe coming back in on the every couple of measures, just to reinforce that little line there. Also, I don't think I mentioned it yet. Obviously, percussion is going to be, it's Ben Grimm. I mean, the thing is the heavy hitting percussion of it all. So snare and bass are meant to represent him throughout the whole thing. Then we get to right here in the score. This is Reed Richards. Here he kind of like takes the not the reins, but kind of reinforces what Sue is being like. It's like, yeah, Johnny, this is the plan. Let's stick to the plan. Let's do this. Here, this dead stop, the measure before the dead stop, this is supposed to be like a listen up type thing. Like, Johnny, seriously, let's do this. So I have just Reed and Sue here playing this measure with a dead stop, and kind of like a oh wait moment for Johnny as he steps back and's like, okay, let's do this plan. This is where the main theme starts. We have it starting with Reed Richards because he's the leader, and I wanted not his theme, but his idea to be the very beginning. Like, he is starting it because he is the leader. We have the little oboe lines here, which still are representing Johnny, but he's become more of a background helping rather than being just guns a-blazing, fist fighting, everything like that. He's become more of a background assisting member. which is what they needed in the plan. Now, here, this section in the trumpets, this is the actual theme. This is the motif that is repeated for the Fantastic Four. This is the Fantastic Four motif. It also kind of represents Reed Richards because it's more, I wanted it to feel a little more stretchy. It was hard to do. I tried to do glissandos and stuff like that, but music score is really bad glissandos. Like, it's bad. Like, it doesn't sound like a glissando at all. It just sounds like, I don't even know. Music score, if somehow you're watching this, fix your glissandos. They sound like trash. But yeah, so I wanted that line to be the Fantastic Four theme. This is the Fantastic Four theme. So, yeah. Then we have down here the choir. So I have a choir part for this, which is, you know how I said I didn't listen to the score? That's true, I didn't. But I saw a post on Instagram where Giacchino was just showing pictures of his recordings from Abbey Road Studios, and one of the pictures had a choir, and I was like, oh, sick. I might have a choir. So I put a choir in, and it sounds sick. I really like it. It doesn't have a lot of moving stuff. It's a lot of chords and stuff like that moving, which follows a lot of the bass line and contrasts it a lot. But the idea was to add give it more roundness and make it feel more like make it feel more like people and less of not robots, but it gave it more personality, in my opinion. Now we move to this section, which is, the Fantastic Four theme is brought up the octave in the second trumpets, just to give it even more oomph. And we're brought in with Johnny slowly starting to creep up and be part of the plan and be actively involved in what they're doing a little more than taking the back seat because he overstepped his boundaries. Then we get a little bit of a 2/4 cut measure here, and then we're into a big chord hit that's supposed to surprise the viewer as we get boom. This is the scene. This is the part of the movie where something unexpected happens. I didn't really think about what the unexpected thing was happen, but this is the unexpected thing where we jump to here. We have Johnny's theme, but it's broken up. It's not, something is wrong with, I'm guessing based off what I did with Johnny, because it's broken here. But the oboe, when we start to get to the end of this, plays Johnny's original theme, which is, this is him starting to get back up a little bit. But when it's combined with this broken Johnny theme, it has this really cool weaving in and out factor, and it's really cool. I like it a lot. Here we start to see the Thing, Mr. Ben Grimm, really start to get his hands involved in the whole operation with the snare drum line. And the whole time throughout this, the Fantastic Four theme is still going. Because, whatever happened, they're still the Fantastic Four. They're still fighting. They still are not out of this fight. Even though it's not necessarily the main focus, they're still not out of this fight yet. Then we get back to the original main theme with Johnny's broken theme and the oboe on top, which, takes, I'm guessing the idea is, Johnny is going to finish out this fight with whatever happened, but he's going to do it smart rather than guns a-blazing. He's doing it smart because he kind of got put in his place there for a little bit. So this is meant to be a big impact. They're all here, they're all going, and this is where the fight really goes. This is the ending of the fight. This is where the Fantastic Four beats Galactus. I'm assuming. I think, probably, maybe. I don't know. I don't know the actual, what happens in the movie. But I'm assuming they do. Then we get to the end here, which we still have Johnny's broken theme. as well as just the original theme, and then it goes into this just hit at the end. Nice and simple, fun. I think it's a really cool, interesting way to end it. Some of the stuff in here I just wrote because it sounded interesting and necessarily wasn't like thematic or have much impact on the scene, which is I mean, this broken thing is kind of that. It didn't really have much impact. I knew that I wanted something to happen. I mean, this could be reminiscent of that, being Johnny having something happen, but at the end of the day, it just sounded really cool when you added it with the Oboe original Johnny theme, so I added it, and I thought it sounded really cool. So, yeah, that is the score that I've written for the Fantastic Four. Oh, also, if you can tell, Fantastically Forged Fellowship. A little bit of a nod to the way Giacchino titles his pieces. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and on your way out, here's the finished score for you guys. Enjoy, and I hope to see you in the next one.